Welcome back to my channel, baddies. I know it's been a moment since I did a video for you, but I'm here with a video and it's gonna be a good one. Look what we made. This beautiful, beautiful self-love cup. The decal says we're on a self-love journey. It's so beautiful. The whole thing was hand painted. We're gonna do it together. I'm gonna walk you through it. I do wanna tell you guys that I do carry my own UVDTFs now, as well as my own glitter. So I am gonna use one of my very own UVDTFs for this project. And if by any chance you go to my website and they're sold out, don't even worry. Not only am I restocking soon, but I will have new designs on Friday, as well as a new glitter collection on Friday. So definitely stay tuned for that. And without further ado, let's make this bad boy. Besitos! I know it's been a minute, so I don't know if you thought you got rid of me, but I'm like a criminal record. I ain't going nowhere. I'm resurfacing like a pimple. But I'm smarter now, so I'm protecting my table with parchment paper. You know what I'm saying? In this economy, I can't buy another desk. Oh, I got to protect my table. We're going to use a lot of napkins. I'm apologizing in advance. I know it's wasteful. I apologize. Alcohol inks are runny like diarrhea. I saw an artist make this beautiful resin piece on Pinterest, and it inspired this cup right here. And it inspired this one. And everyone loved it so much that I decided to make a tutorial for YouTube. So here we are. Now you're gonna start by making sure you're dabbing the excess alcohol ink off your brush, okay? Alcohol ink is very runny, like diarrhea. So you don't wanna just pick up a whole bunch of alcohol ink on your brush and then go right into making your swirls, because it's gonna run. It's very runny. It's very runny like your mouth. So you want to make sure that you are always dabbing off excess, okay? And I have my alcohol there to help me keep my brush clean. Now, if you notice, I'm just dipping it into the alcohol and letting it absorb the alcohol and then cleaning it off on my napkin. If I push my brush into the alcohol, it's going to paint the whole alcohol in the container. So I'm just trying to be, neat. I'm trying to be neat for as long as I can. So the next color I'm going to go in is a beautiful purple. Okay. These are Jen's Crafted Gems inks. And one tip of advice that I could give you, is I'm sorry guys, English is hard. Okay. English is my second language and sometimes me no speak it very good. So sorry. But if you ever want to create a different color than whatever alcohol ink you have, you can always blend it with like a lighter purple if you're doing purple, or you can add a little bit of white, and that's going to give you like a pastel color. Now, what I'm doing here is I am creating a rainbow of swirls, and I'm just, if you can see, I'm leaving a little white space in between each color. Now, I didn't like the green. It wasn't dark enough. It was too similar to the yellow, so I got a darker green, and I will go ahead and link every single color I used. So I got a darker green so that you can be able to tell the difference, right, in between the green and the yellow. Now, to blend in my little rainbow and make it look a little bit more cohesive, I took some white alcohol ink. And remember, every single time you dip your brush into that alcohol ink, dab off the excess on a paper towel. I cannot stress that enough. Alcohol ink is very runny and it runs very fast. And if it starts running down the side of your tumbler, it's going to drag all of those colors with it, because alcohol ink activates alcohol. Also, her inks are very pigmented and they will stain your cup, so it'll be kind of hard to fix it. You can fix it though. Nothing's impossible. But I would definitely just get into the habit of dabbing off the excess. So I take a little bit of white, dab off the excess, and then I blend in between colors. I'm just dragging my brush right where that white space is in between the colors and just going back and forth to create a nice blend. And I love the fact that the more alcohol ink you add on top of alcohol ink, it just activates it more and makes it just spread out better. You can also use pure alcohol in between the lines. That's also going to give you the same result. And I just kind of did it back and forth in between each one of my colors until I was happy with how much it blended. So you can go back and forth as much as you want until you feel like you have a pretty good cohesive flow on your swirls. Don't worry too much if there's a little bit of harsh lines in between your swirls, because we are going to use a gold pen to separate them anyway. So you'll be able to hide some imperfections if you don't like them. So don't worry your pretty little heart out, okay? It's going to be fine. It's just a cup. If we mess it up, guess what? We just start over, okay? I know a lot of people put pressure on themselves to try new things because they don't want to mess up. But I think that by messing up is how you end up coming up with some really beautiful designs. It helps your creativity, it helps you grow like a pimple. And this entire design was me experimenting and squeezing my butt cheeks. I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to mess this up? Am I going to be able to make it look good? So I'm really glad I experimented and just took a risk, because I feel like this ended up being a very cute design, a very cute style. So do not be afraid to experiment and get in there like a wedgie and just, move your paintbrush around. As long as you remember the most important step, which is always to dab off excess alcohol ink on your brush, on your paper towel, you're going to be okay. You're going to be totally okay. Now for the middle section, I kind of did a little rainbow of colors and I just dabbed little sections. Now what I'm doing here is, once I have them all placed, I went into my white and just kind of dabbed white on top of all of them. This was to create more of like a watercolor type look. The inks were pretty dark when I first tapped my brush in that center. So just to make it look a little more watercolor to match the rest of the swirls, I went ahead and, watered it down with a little bit of white alcohol ink, but I did keep cleaning my brush in between colors. Excuse me. And then once I was happy with the way they looked, I took some pure alcohol, 99% alcohol. I did replace it because it was getting a little funky like your bath water. So I did replace the alcohol. It's clear again. So you can take a little bit of that alcohol or even some of the other colors and just blend all of your little blobs together. It's going to look really beautiful. And don't remember, it's okay if you don't create a super cohesive flow in between your colors, because you're going to outline each individual color with a gold pen. I know that might not make sense right now. I will show you in the next step. So, just blend them as much as you can and try to layer on top of each other just to activate that pretty like blending that alcohol inks do. Once your cup is fully dry, use a metallic pen. I got this one at Hobby Lobby. I am obsessed with it. I've used a lot of gold pens, metallic pens. This is by far my favorite one. I'm completely in love with it. I couldn't find this brand on Amazon, but they do have it at Hobby Lobby, and they have a silver one in the pack as well. So what I'm doing here is you see that harsh line that I'm following? I'm kind of just placing my gold pen over it, and you don't want to do perfectly straight swirls, okay? Give them a little bit of swiggliness, almost like if you were doing like a geode outline, okay? Try to picture that. And just kind of follow that line. You see that harsh line that I was chasing? I'm just going to do the same thing with the very next line that I see. This part is completely up to you, okay? You can do as many swirls look at that gold. Blinding. You could do as many swirls as you want of your metallic pen. You can do as little as you want. You can keep adding, taking away. Take your time, go slow. Make sure that in between sections, you shake your pen a little bit and just kind of scribble it on a piece of paper, because it starts to dry out after a little bit. So you just want to make sure that you're always getting that super pigmented gold goodness on your cup. Once you feel like you've got enough swirls and you feel like you've created good separation in between your colors, you can stop. Look at that. Get out of town. I'm obsessed. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Gorgina. And then the next step, you're going to go into the center and you're going to kind of gel in each color. You're going to gel it in. I'm sorry. Is that a word? Gel. You're going to gel in. You're going to block in. You're going to separate. I don't know. Just do a swiggly line wherever you see harsh lines in between colors. And just remember, there's no specific pattern. There's no right or wrong way to do this. This is one of those trust the process, because I'm sure when I first started doing this, you were like, that is uglier than a butthole. And you're right. It was. You got to trust the process. Okay. You got to trust the process 1000%. But just keep going all the way down your little middle splatter and just highlight those colors, hide those harsh lines that you don't like if they didn't blend so well. And then when you're done, do the bottom, don't forget the bottom. And then this is what you're gonna end up with, a beautiful masterpiece. Look at that. Wow. I'm doing this voiceover and I'm in awe all over again. It took me about 40 minutes from start to finish to do this because I went in with my metallic pen as soon as my alcohol inks were fully dry. You do not need to seal the pen. You do not need to seal the inks. As long as you wait till everything is 100% dry, you can go in with the best epoxy in the world, Flynn's Sister Supply Shop. Are you kidding me? The best. Don't even take my word for it. Just look at this. Just look at her, okay? She looks like straight glass. That looks like water. That thing is brighter than my future. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Anyway, I will link it in the description. I do have a discount code if you want to try the epoxy. If you don't, that's okay. I'm not your mom. I'm not going to force you, but look what you're missing. Look at it. Let me get closer. If you find a bubble, I will give you $1 and a hug. Are you kidding me? The epoxy speaks for itself. Now on to more exciting stuff. These are UVDTFs that I carry on my website. Some of them might be sold out because you baddies are crazy. And whenever there's a launch of anything, you baddies jump on it. So I don't know if I have very many selections left, but don't worry, your pretty little heart. I will be releasing new UVDTFs this Friday along with new glitter colors, and I will have restocks coming for the following week. So don't you worry. Don't you worry. Also, if any of you make a purchase on my website, don't forget to use discount code YouTube to get yourself a 10% discount, okay? I do that because I love you. You're here supporting my channel, so I'm going to support you back. I like to place my decals with my tumbler standing up. I don't know why. It's so much easier for me to get my decal on straight. So I always do it this way. Now with these UVDTFs, they are just permanent decals, okay? You can use these on glass tumblers. You can use these on cold cups, Starbucks cups, acrylic cups without having to epoxy over them because they are permanent, okay? They're like a criminal record. Eventually, you could probably like file it off or acetone soak it off. But other than that, it's pretty permanent. It's pretty freaking permanent. So yeah, just so if you don't work with epoxy and you make cold cups or glass, tumblers, these are perfect for you. They're also perfect to use under epoxy as well, because look how easy it was to place my decal. Just make sure you rub it in really well before you start peeling the backing off. You do not need to seal the UVDTF either. All I did was wipe the tumbler down to get all the oil from my fingers off of it. And then I went right in with another coat of epoxy, popped my bubbles like I popped this booty on a Saturday night. Here's the final product. She's beautiful. She's independent. She don't need no man, okay? Look at her. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment below. And guess what? I'll see you next Monday at the same time for another fun video. Besitos. Mwah.